before the first city was ever built, before the first ship crossed the sea, before humanity reached for the stars, there was one mystery that every civilization feared: the world beneath their feet. Every mountain, every forest, every desert, and every ocean was hiding something no one had ever seen. Thousands of years ago, people could only imagine what existed below the Earth's surface. They watched volcanoes erupt without warning. Rivers of fire poured from the ground. The Earth trembled beneath their feet. Smoke rose into the sky. Entire villages disappeared. To them, the Earth seemed alive. Across different cultures, stories began to spread. Some believed the underworld was the home of forgotten spirits. Others believed dangerous creatures slept beneath the mountains. Many believed a place of eternal punishment existed deep below the earth. But none of them had any way to prove it. They had no satellites, no drilling machines, no modern science, only questions and fear. Then, everything changed. Humanity stopped asking and decided to search for the answer. The journey would lead scientists to one of the coldest places on Earth, a place where history was about to be rewritten. In 1970, far beyond the world's busiest cities, deep inside the frozen wilderness of the Soviet Union, a group of scientists prepared for an experiment unlike anything in history. Their goal was not to build the tallest structure, nor to reach the moon. Their mission was to travel in the opposite direction, down, deeper than any human being had ever gone before. The project became known as the Kola Superdeep Borehole. At first, it looked like nothing more than a drilling site surrounded by snow. But beneath the surface, history was quietly being written. Day after day, the drill pushed deeper into the Earth's crust. Hundreds of meters became thousands. Thousands became kilometers. Every meter demanded more power, more precision, and more determination. The deeper they drilled, the greater the pressure became. The rocks grew harder. Temperatures climbed higher than anyone had predicted. Machines designed to withstand incredible force began to fail. Drill bits wore out. Metal twisted under extreme conditions. Equipment that had performed perfectly near the surface suddenly struggled. Yet the scientists refused to stop.
Look at this.
Every obstacle convinced them they were getting closer to answers, hidden for billions
This is it.
of years. No one knew what waited below,
No.
but
We're
everyone
close.
knew. There was no turning back.
Years passed, yet the drilling never stopped. Winter after winter, the massive drilling rig continued its relentless journey into the Earth's crust. Every day, the drill descended a little farther than it had the day before. Every meter was a step into territory no human had ever explored. Scientists carefully studied every rock brought back to the surface. Each sample told a story that had remained hidden for billions of years. The deeper they drilled, the stranger things became. Instruments began recording temperatures far higher than anyone had predicted. Scientists expected the underground rocks to be hot, but not this hot. As the drill pushed deeper, temperatures climbed toward 180 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, steel began losing its strength. Drilling equipment failed more often. Expensive drill bits wore out in a matter of days. Powerful machines struggled against the enormous pressure beneath the Earth's surface. Every repair meant lost time. Every delay increased the cost of the mission. Many experts believed the project should be abandoned, but the team refused. They had already gone farther than anyone in history. Turning back now would mean leaving one of Earth's greatest mysteries unsolved. Every new layer of rock revealed something unexpected. Ancient minerals, fossils unlike anything the team expected to find, and evidence that the Earth's interior was far more complex than scientists had imagined. Yet, the deeper they drilled, the more unpredictable everything became. No one at the site realized that the world's attention was about to turn toward this frozen drilling station, because soon, a mysterious story would spread across the globe. A story that would make millions of people believe the drill had uncovered something impossible. But what happened next would become one of the most famous legends ever told.
By the late 1980s, the Kola Superdeep Borehole had become one of the greatest scientific achievements in history. Scientists had drilled deeper into the Earth's crust than anyone before them. Around the world, newspapers began reporting on the extraordinary project. Television stations discussed its incredible depth. Radio broadcasters described the mission as humanity's greatest journey beneath the Earth. Then, a different story began to spread. It claimed that somewhere beneath the frozen ground, scientists had lowered sensitive recording equipment into the borehole. According to the story, the microphones captured strange sounds rising from the darkness. Some people believed the noises sounded like distant screams. Others believed they were nothing more than echoes created by extreme underground conditions. As the story spread, it grew more dramatic with every retelling. Soon, newspapers called it the well to hell. Radio presenters repeated the story. Television documentaries mentioned it. Years later, the internet carried the legend to millions of people around the world. Some accepted it immediately. Others dismissed it as impossible. The mystery divided opinions everywhere. But there was one question almost nobody stopped to ask. Where did this story actually come from? Was it based on real scientific evidence? Or had the legend become much larger than the facts? To answer that question, we have to look beyond the headlines
the Kola Peninsula
and
in
return
northwest Russia,
to the
where
science.
a scientific drilling project has reached a record depth.
But what did scientists actually discover beneath the Earth's surface?
Fact or legend?
For years, millions of people believed that scientists had opened a doorway into something terrifying, a hole so deep that it had reached a world hidden beneath our own. But when investigators searched for scientific records of the alleged recording, they found no verified report confirming that microphones had captured human screams beneath the earth. No authenticated recording from the drilling team. No official experiment documenting voices from below. And no evidence that the Kola scientists had discovered an entrance. The terrifying story had grown through newspapers, radio programs, television, and repeated retellings. Each version became darker than the one before it, until the legend became more famous than the real discoveries themselves. But the truth was not disappointing. It was extraordinary. In 1989, the main borehole reached a vertical depth of 12,262 meters, more than 12 kilometers beneath the surface. It became the deepest vertical hole humanity had ever created. Yet even at that incredible depth, the drill had traveled through only a fraction of Earth's continental crust. If the planet were the size of a large apple, humanity had barely scratched its skin. The center of the Earth was still thousands of kilometers farther away. And between the drill and that center lay pressure and heat, powerful enough to destroy every machine humans could place there. Scientists had predicted that the temperature at the bottom would be much lower. Instead, it climbed to approximately 180 degrees Celsius. The rocks were no longer behaving like ordinary solid stone. Under immense heat and pressure, They became more difficult to cut, and the borehole became increasingly difficult to control. Equipment failed, drill sections broke, progress became slower, more expensive, and more dangerous. Nature had created a barrier that technology could not overcome. But before the mission ended, the Earth revealed secrets no one had expected. Scientists had predicted that drilling would eventually pass from granite into a layer of basalt, but the expected basalt boundary never appeared. Instead, they continued finding altered granite at depths where seismic observations had suggested a completely different kind of rock should exist. It showed scientists that signals traveling through the crust could be produced by changes inside the rock, not necessarily by a completely new rock layer. Then came another surprise. Researchers discovered microscopic fossils preserved within ancient rocks several kilometers beneath the surface. Fragile traces of early life had survived enormous pressure and extreme geological conditions. And deeper still, scientists detected water-bearing fluids inside rocks at depths once considered unreachable by water. This was not an underground ocean. It was fluid moving through tiny fractures and spaces within the deep crust. But its presence forced researchers to reconsider how water behaves far beneath Earth's surface. These were the real voices from below, not human screams, but messages written inside stone. Messages about heat, pressure, water, ancient life, and a planet far more complicated than anyone had imagined. So why did the drilling stop? Not because scientists were frightened by something supernatural, not because creatures emerged from the darkness, and not because humanity had opened the gates of hell. The mission stopped because the conditions became too extreme. The technology had reached its limit, and the project could no longer continue as originally planned. The borehole was eventually sealed. The machinery fell silent. Snow continued falling across the abandoned site, and the deepest doorway humanity had ever opened into, Earth's crust, was reduced to a metal cover in a forgotten landscape. But one question remained. If the Kola borehole was nowhere near the center of the Earth, what truly exists beneath the layers we have never reached? Science has found no geological evidence. Questions about hell as a spiritual reality belong to faith, and cannot be confirmed or disproved by a drilling machine. But geology does reveal something equally humbling. Beneath our feet lies a world of crushing pressure, ancient rocks, hidden fluids, unimaginable temperatures, and mysteries humanity may not solve for generations. Perhaps the most frightening truth is not that scientists found hell underground. It is that after drilling deeper than anyone in history, they had still explored almost nothing. The earth beneath us remains largely unreachable, silent, powerful, and filled with secrets. The well to hell may have been a legend, but the unknown world beneath our feet is completely real. And now, after 4 parts, our journey has reached its end. But before you leave, tell me what you believe. Was the well to hell simply a story created from fear? Or do you believe humanity could one day discover something beneath the earth that science cannot explain? Write your answer in the comments. Share this movie with someone who loves unexplained mysteries. And subscribe to Davidk Science Facts. Because the deepest mysteries of our world are still waiting to be uncovered.